Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alex, Senior Account Executive at GDMFX. This is today's European session outlook. The Yuan devaluation continues to cause market volatility, and we have retail sales in the US coming today. We'll start with the North American markets. The 10-year note auction came out 0.010% less than previous, and the monthly budget statement at $17.2 billion worse than expected. The dollar suffered broad-based weakness against rival currencies Wednesday as investors fretted that China's devaluation of the yuan could cause Federal Reserve officials to delay an expected increase in the central bank's benchmark interest rate. However, we had Fed's William Dudley speech. Most of his speech was broader about the changing developments and reinvention of the modern workforce, citing growing mismatch between employers' needs and job seekers' skills, rather than being pointed about any major direction on interest rates. He did, however, say that the Fed is certainly nearer to raising interest rates, hopefully in the near future. The Dow 4 points down, 30 range down. S&P 500 index had a range of 40 points. Nasdaq was sideways with 100 points range. Dixie is down to 96.42 from 96.97. The USD CAD is 12 points down, USD Swiss franc 12 points down, and USD JPY is also down by 8 points. Today, we'll be expecting the retail sales month on month and retail sales ex altos month on month. We'll move on to the EU market. The German ZEV economic sentiment came out at 25, which is worse than expected. The German ZEV current situation, 65.7, which is better than expected. And the EU ZEV economic sentiment, better than expected also by 47.6. And EU industrial production year on year was worse than expected and worse than in previous. The Swiss ZEV expectations for August, however, came out way better than anticipations, and inflation reports for Germany came as expected already. The DAX 30 opened with 130 points negative gap and ended the session with 130 points down from 330 range. The CAC 40 opened with 30 points negative gap and ended the session with 100 down from 180 range. The Euro USD had a range of 20 points and is 13 points up. Investors will be looking forward to today's news, which is the EU industrial production year on year and month on month. Onto the UK markets, the number of employed people in the UK fell by 63,000 and fueled fears that the labor market in the UK has been stalled. The number of unemployed rose with 25,000. This is the second consecutive report which shows that less people are employed during the quarter and shows that the UK economy is slowing. The employment data makes interest rate hike before the end of 2015 very unlikely to happen. The average weekly earning, including bonus, gained 2.4% in the 3 months to the end of June when compared to the same period last year. Even though the numbers are lower than expected and lower than before, as the inflation hit zero, this means that the purchasing power of UK households will actually increase. The FTSE 100 moved down to a total of 47 points and closed at 65.78. The 10-year gilt yields were at 1.79, which is a decrease of 1.32%. The pound had a 15 points or bigger movement down against Swiss franc, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, and Australian dollar. Onto the Asian markets. In Japan, we had machinery orders year on year 0.2 better than expectations, now at 16.6%. However, the month on month failed with 2.4% to meet expectations, now at negative 7.9%. The Nikkei 225 moved 635 points. And it opened with a bullish gap today of 30 points. That's already 250 points up today. People's Bank of China officials said the yuan would strengthen against once the market stabilizes, and they see no basis for further depreciation. In the Pacific, we had the New Zealand business PMI down to 53.5 from 55.1. The house price index 5.5% better, and consumer inflation in Australia, 3.7% from 3.4%. Australia's central bank Deputy Governor Lowe warned property price increases without similar income gains could pose a danger to the economy. Lowe also said households' balance sheets are on average a little more risky than they once were. He said many Australians seem to have reached a similar conclusion as they demonstrate a more restrained approach to spending. Lowe said the central bank is aware of the housing wages mismatch in setting monetary policy, and a consumption boom fueled by borrowing wouldn't be in Australia's interest. Household debt in Australia as a proportion of disposable income rose to a record 155.9% in the first quarter of this year, having more than doubled over the past 2 decades. Today we have the New Zealand retail sales quarter on quarter and retail sales ex-auto, also quarter on quarter. Last section is commodities. The crude oil stock exchange inventories fell by 1.7 million barrels in the week ended August 7th. The total U.S. crude oil inventory stood at 453.6 million barrels as of last week, remaining near levels not seen for this time of year in at least the last 80 years. Gold had a range of $24, trading at 1,122. Silver had a range of 43 cents at 15.43 now. Crude had $1 range at 43.51, and natural gas is trading at 2.90 at the moment with a range of 8 cents. And today we have the natural gas storage change. A storage report slated for release today is expected to show a build of approximately 50 billion British thermal units for the week ending August 7th. Alright everybody, that was all for today. Thank you for the attention. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.